Hello. In this recording, I wanted to channel out and present the idea of what it means to be, the interpretation of what it means to be human in relations to the goals of life, what you might call as a purpose of being, and then also the larger implications of what human race holds for itself and within itself in this space and time. And so to begin with, most of you struggle with the idea that a human being is separate or is lost or is disconnected from the world or from the whole. It is a concept that is introduced into the makeup of your ecological system through the idea that by the mere nature of your separation or the idea of the separation, you then function in the greater reach of potential. The design and the makeup of your creation is to make you believe, to make you recognize your sovereign existence without any kind of filters or any kind of greater knowledges of truth that you might possess that would limit or hinder or even cause you to sway the actions of yourself while if you were to possess that knowledge. And so, through the design, through the creation process, you were created to be autonomous, right? To have the free will of choice, to have a decision after decision that you can make that would guide your own path and guide your being of creation to do whatever you want, however you want, without any limitations of self. Um, with that, with that design, um, having zero awareness, especially in the past, of true nature of reality, you have been able to create, the most amazing things that in this three-dimensional form you consider to be your truth. So the experience of your interpretation of human life is extremely vast and extremely real, and um, the word horrendous comes up from the channel standpoint, but horrendous in the sense that it carries such a vast amount of emotions and feelings and interpretations of how you could interpret the nature of humanity, the nature of what it means for you to be a sovereign being in charge of your own decisions and in charge of your destiny. And so the playground, Earth, is indeed a playground. The message that we want to communicate is that it is designed for your true belief and interpretation that you are in charge, that you are driving your decisions, and that you are indeed the captain of your voyage. You're the captain of your ship, um, and that ship, the destination of that ship is in fact your own decision, your desired outcome of progression. So each step you take in life, each conversation you have, each action you perform, is the the direction of the ship that is your destiny, that is your life. And so that that freedom, that free will of operation, allows you to create the most amazing worlds and the most amazing scenarios and lives to interpret yourself in any way that you want. And so the playground Earth is real, and it's there for you to use and utilize and feed your being into its true potential. At the same time, the actions of you as a sovereign being of your sovereign state of selection of destiny are also affecting the greater whole, both on this planet and also galactically, right? So your choice, your vibrational energy of choice of what you choose to interpret and to present as your reality creates ripples. The butterfly effect comes into view right now that you are in fact a sovereign being and you declare your sovereignty to your space and to your choice. But because you're a part of the galactic whole energetically, right, from the physical standpoint, you feel very separated. But energetically, you're in fact part of the galactic whole that does create a rippling effect on interpretation of your being as a whole, as a divine soul of creation, right? So the individual actions and interpretations of you feed each life cycle of your existence, which then feeds your collective soul as a whole, and then collective soul then interprets its existence on a larger energetic scale, um, as this cumulative notion of you from all your actions, from all your lives, and from all the notions of your existence. And so then the collective whole is fed into reality through the interpretations of each action, each lifetime, multiple lifetimes feeding into the soul then feeding the energy of the whole interpretation into the cumulative whole, and then the cumulative whole of the oneness or the creational being of recognition is then interprets itself and feeds itself into knowledge through those actions. So the the dichotomy that I want to point out that is being drawn here is that while we are individual and while we are sovereign beings, um, galactically we are still responsible for our choices and actions to the whole. And so it is hard to marry the two because through the nature of your design, you're designed not to be limited in your choice, in order not to have the knowledge of the greater whole. So your choice would truly be a sovereign decision of self. And so that separation allows you to interpret and to live your life to the fullest without having these gauges or gears of why you should or should not do something that affects the greater good, right? The greater whole. Now, you have drawn definition of similar concepts here on Earth in the three-dimensional form, to the collective wholes, so that the macro truth gets propagated into your microorganisms here on earth, so you're familiar with what is it like to be driven by the actions of the greater whole, is or through through community or church or work organization or a club, um, but at the same time you realize that you're a sovereign being within that space interpreting your own decisions. And so what I want to highlight and I want to emphasize is just like you feel to be part of the whole through your community efforts or your churches or work organization, you're in fact a member of the whole on the most significant galactic scale possible. And by galactic, I do not mean three-dimensional interpretation of the galaxies. I mean the energetic space that holds all creation and is all creation. um, and so you are a divine spark of representation of the whole. Through the propagation of energetic switches and channels, you are separated, or you might conceive yourself to be separated, but in fact, you're very much a huge part, each and every one of you, of what it means to be human and what it means to be sovereign, and at the same time what it means to be a citizen of the greater whole on the most largest scale you can imagine. And so um, to to draw this recognition, I wanted to emphasize that the choices are, in fact, your choices for so much greater than yourself. Your energetic frequency of self that you choose to live in, or choose to loathe in, or choose to interpret yourself as the truth, in fact, feed the greater whole in the most delicate way possible. Not only are they feeding, your own energetic being and your immediate circle of family and friends, and then, to an extent, your community, they're actually feeding the greater whole that is the creative forces of the universe, that is the interpretation of life, um, on the most rudimentary scale of creation. And so make choices wisely. That is the guidance that I would give you, is choose the truth that you actually want to see in the world. Choose the actions of self. Your sovereign decision needs to be an action of self that actually dictates the outcomes that you want to see, right? In fact, this is what you would say is, be the example, not for others but for yourself, of how to live your life to the fullest, and to the fullest interpretation. That means the interpretation of expression of self through the true nature and vibrational quality of your existence, which is love, right? So what is you without the makeup of your physical form? What is you without the makeup of your energetic body? What is you without frequency of love? And the simple answer is, you do not exist without the frequency of love, right? And so you are in fact, or is in fact, a frequency of love. And that frequency of love is what feeds your being into existence. And so the importance of this collective whole is to be making decisions from the standpoint of truth, from the standpoint of the know how to realize that your sovereign destiny of choice, um, it does matter and is part of the whole. It feeds the whole, and it interprets your life through your decisions. And so love the best way you can. Allow love to flow. At times I know it gets hard. The three-dimensional space creates a lot of pressure. The separation from the truth of your true existence creates a lot of confusion into what you are and what you're not. But in fact, uh, that separation and the search for oneness is what leads you into the causes of love, right? And what leads you to your truth, that is the interpretation of you as love. And so that is the message. I hope it resonates with you. If it doesn't, close your eyes and just simply feel your being there, and that will give you all the answers necessary. Thank you.